80 participants, 54 hours, 15, we had 36 pitches, 15 teams selected, and 14 will be pitching tonight for real. Of those 14, many of them didn't sleep this weekend. We had designers, developers, entrepreneurs, and educators. And how many educators do we have in the room tonight? Raise your hand if you're an educator. We are so excited to have you here with us this weekend. And we are so excited for those of you who are joining us tonight to see the amazing projects and startups that have come out of this weekend. So for those of you that aren't familiar, this is Oakland and EDU. They basically came in with only ideas this weekend, pitched them, found people with complementary skill sets and recruited them to their teams, built products, did customer validation, built beautiful designs, some of them coded, and many of them tested with both educators, administrators, students, and many other learners. So we're very thrilled to bring this to you tonight to see these amazing presentations. I'm just Michael. This is my 16th Startup Weekend event, and I'm your Startup Weekend facilitator here to be your MC tonight. I want to give a huge shout out to the amazing organizers that actually put this together. So organizers, will you please stand up? This will not happen without Thank you so much. We also like to give a huge shout out to our volunteers and coaches. So if you are here this weekend as a volunteer coach, can you please stand up too? Thank you so much. This weekend to come in and provide their expertise in the industry to each one of our teams and help guide them, coach them into making even more amazing things in the art of world making. I also want to thank many of our sponsors, such as OUSD and South by Southwest EDU, which has donated both OUSD has donated a pilot program for one of the winning teams, and South by Southwest EDU has donated 3 tickets for the winning team to go to in March. Additionally, we have some other amazing sponsors such as Clever, Impact Hub, Nest GSB, General Assembly, Uber, who donated a discount code for everybody to get home tonight, Learn Capital, Pearson Catalyst Program, and Dev Bootcamp. So if there was anybody from those organizations, if you could please stand up, and thank you so much for making this weekend happen. We're very, very appreciative. Additionally, we'd like to thank our global sponsors, Google for Entrepreneurs, Amazon Web Services, Coca-Cola, and .pro, to provide both technology resources as well as financial support for both the global and startup weekend. And then additional support. Startup Weekend EDU, founding sponsor of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, has helped us double the number of Startup Weekend EDUs going on all over the world this year. So we have 29 events in 2014 on every continent except for Antarctica. So if anyone wants to do one with the penguins, let us know. Doing it right now. And we are a growing movement. These are some of the stats for what's going on in Startup Weekend EDU. And we have some amazing representatives here tonight from the team, both Mandela and John Aldo. They are scaling the growth of this so every community can have an education technology community within their. It's really exciting. So this weekend, Startup Weekend EDU Oakland is making history. This is the first one we have ever done in Oakland, which is amazing. We are so proud of this all the way here. And it's also the second Startup Weekend ever to occur in Oakland in all history, which is crazy, and both of them occurred in February. So cool. Additionally, we added a really cool challenge that never been done, and it was a parent engagement and community engagement challenge that several teachers from OUSD came in judging and evaluating some of these teams and delivering potentially a pilot program within your school district. Yay! So, additionally, if any of you have your phone out or you're tweeting, we want you to use our hashtag. We're in a global battle. There's several other sort of weekend events going on around the world, and that's our hashtag. Just to remind you what these teams are being evaluated on, here's the judging criteria. We have, they're being evaluated on technical execution, business model, user experience design, and of course, educational impact. Here's a little information about the OUSD Challenge about family and community engagement and what they're being evaluated on. We have 4 teams competing in this weekend. And here are the prizes that they will be getting. They include both the Meeting with Pearson Power Program, free passes to South by Southwest EDU, 3 months of free desk space at SGSB, as well as a 1-year free subscription to General Assembly's online classes, which is an amazing opportunity for them. The second and third place prizes are received. Second and third place teams are receiving different swag with EDU Oakland on them, and Clever has a Clever Innovation Prize that they're giving to a team that has made an outstanding technical achievement this weekend. And that prize is they will be able to do a pilot inside of one of Clever's mini schools out there. And here's more information about the OUSD pilot program that they're going to be offering as well for those teams. I'd like to show and introduce our absolutely amazing judges that we have representing many different organizations tonight. So if you guys want to go around and stand up and introduce yourself, we have a microphone for you and that is the question on.
Good evening, my name is Hazen Thomas. I'm the CEO of Education for Change Public Schools, which is a charter management organization of 2,400 children here at Oakland. Been an Oakland educator for 20 years and very excited to be here.
Good evening, my name is Jamoki and I'm on the Oakland Vice School District Board of Education and I represent West Oakland. So this is one of my schools that formerly was West Oakland. And I like that kind of inspired me to be on the school board with an education work within the West Oakland School. So I'm excited about the OUSD Challenge coming up.
Hi, I'm Education Board with EDU Center for Social Impact right here in Oakland and Cape Capital. Delighted that we're going to start up in EDU right here in Oakland.
My name is Michael Satan. I'm at Learn Capital, which right with Take-Away Capital is one of the most active, and this school venture fund, one of the most active backers of early stage education technology companies, and I started my career in the classroom, so I'm happy to see all of you here.
Hi, I'm John Cole. I'm the IT officer here at Oakland Unified. So I'm really looking forward to seeing some technology that we can implement right here at Oakland.
My name is Steve Osborne. I'm the CEO of SGSB. We're an incubator and accelerator in Redwood City, and we're looking forward to supporting this education.
Thank you guys. I'm not know anyway about what you guys have to do to decide between these teams guys. And then if you can have the 4 educators who will be judging the OUSD Challenge come up, guys, and introduce yourselves. Hi, I'm Joe Buddy, so I'm lesson teacher of the seniors over at Fremont High School at East Oakland, English. Hi, I'm Shelley Gordon. I teach middle school science at Roosevelt. I'm Jennifer Mary. I teach middle school English, 6th grade English at Brewer. And I'm Mr. King, and I teach 6th and 8th grade science at Roosevelt Middle School in Oakland. Thank you guys so much for coming out and judging this weekend as well. Just a few words of advice as with audience participation this weekend. If you could please silence your phone to be respectful for everybody that is presenting babies when they cry. I'm just kidding. Again, if you could be very quiet, and then for those of you presenting, when you're up here, if you could make sure the closer you are to the speaker, the more feedback you're going to receive. So standing back here near this table would be a good idea. But you're also being broadcast live. We are live streaming. So if your friends at home that want to see this, we just tweeted out the link and you can retweet it to them. So that way everybody at home can see what's going on here tonight. So enough of me. It's more exciting to see what is going on with all of these amazing teams out here. So, ready, set, pitch. Here's our first team tonight. Talking point. And they'll each be given 4 minutes of presentation time and then 4 minutes of questions. For the 4 teams that are starting out, it's 2 minutes of questions from this group of judges and then 2 minutes of questions from our educators over here. And the moment I start clapping to cut them off at 4 minutes, if you could help me out and start clapping as loudly as you can too, really appreciate it.
There's one has some feedback issues as well. Okay, this sounds probably start.
A word of advice when using this mic for everybody who's pitching. You have to hold it firmly and do not touch the gray part. That's what was making the feedback when I was talking on Friday and when many people were pitching. So be very careful. And when you spit into it, it makes more feedback. So no spitting. On it. You can spit on the people in front.
So before I start, can you all take your phones out? Okay. So you know that parent engagement is really important in a student's academic achievement. But however, 37 out of the 40 teachers that we surveyed in the Bay Area say there is too little parent engagement. They say direct communication channels and tips on parents on how to engage their children would help. Out of the 12 Oakland parents that we surveyed, 12 of them want to engage more, but often do not know how and don't have the time or the resources to do that. So how can we solve this? Meet Team Talking Point. We are a team of an ex-Facebook hackathon winner and a UI designer, an ex-McKinsey consultant, an ex-Googler in marketing, and a TFA teacher. Talking Point is a Remind 101 for parent engagement and student learning. It is an SMS service that teachers send out with discussion points for parents to talk to their children around the subjects that they learned about at school. It sends out also using Google Translate in multiple languages, especially for those families who don't have English as their primary language. So let me show you how this works. Parents opt in by texting to a phone number, their student name, and their preferred language, and whether they would like to receive it by phone or email. The teacher then adds a talking point, which kind of draws from the originally made template already. So they just click. And then it sends a text back to their parents. So please text either engage or Espanol to 55155, depending on your preferred language. And put your hand up when you have something back. Okay, any more hands? Awesome, so for extra credit, please text back A or B. And parents will text us back and with their children, and the teachers will start the class next day with a discussion around these discussion points. A long-term vision is that text can be automatically generated based on the input of the teacher and lesson planning tools, so the teachers do not take much time to do this. And out of the 40 teachers and 12 parents we surveyed, we have had overwhelming responses to the solution. So how does it solve the problem? Reaching the low-income families, in which only 1 in 2 have smartphones. Parents get more information about what their students have learned in the classroom. Gives parents who want to engage their children something to talk about more than what did you learn there, which to normal answer is nothing. It is also a push service, there is minimal effort on both the parents and the children. And who will we sell this to? We will initially start out by giving this out for free to teachers and move on to a subscription model that is bought by the administrators and tag onto the existing systems such as learning management system or content management system. Our next step would be initial testing to push content through basic text and to gauge interest from the parents by asking the teachers to talk to their parents and children about whether this worked in their homes or not. Thank you.
Did you make the question from the side?
Have you done any benchmarking to see if any of the SMS providers are providing this service?
We've looked at Remind 101, but that's a one-way service. So it's more a two-way system that we're thinking about. Also, it's kind of very logistics-based, whereas this would be pulling on like content that's customized per day. We've also looked at two-way systems, such as class texting. They also do not focus on the content. So this is about kind of reminding the parents of what the children have learned and making that into a discussion place.
Have you looked into reporting and some specifics on that?
Reporting?
Yeah, reporting just to see how the engagement works.
Sorry, I don't know.
A reporting module so the school can see how parents are engaged.
Yeah, so we haven't actually looked at exactly what systems we would use, but the idea is that the teacher would be able to see what kind of responses the parents had and which parents responded, so they can actually gauge the parent engagement that way too, and kind of figure out, which students are dropping off the landscape or the classrooms at the home.
Do you get any additional validated data other than the initial survey slide that you showed at the beginning? It was like 37 or 40.
So we went out this morning to the lake in Oakland and showed the parents how the test service would look like. And those are the parents who had those reminding responses and they thought actually it would be really useful. It would even be more useful if it was specific questions on exactly what they did today. And then I can talk to them over dinner or over at bedtime. They also mentioned direct communication channel with the teachers is really lacking and that's something that they really It would be like Remind 101, where there is anonymity over the phone numbers, but you would be able to see which parent responded and whose parent had it.
And then my other question is, you said it's a two-way service. Mm-hmm. What other ways is different from Remind 101? Which for those who don't know is already a push text service for the parents can subscribe to it.
Mm-hmm. So the long-term vision for us is that it would tag onto like a already existing kind of lesson planning system, or like a calendar, say. So, for example, if you had an English class this morning, it would automatically kind of look at the lesson plan and find the content for you, and you wouldn't even have to do anything to send these texts out. Thank you.
So next up on, we have Police Games, and so going forward, we have the list over here of the orders, so you're the next one. When we start moving to questions, if you could start bringing your team's laptop to the projector, that would really help us flow tonight, and we really appreciate it.
Hi. How's everyone doing tonight? Hi. Oh yeah, I'm tall. We're still waiting for one team member to join us. Start up weekend. I take a moment to thank the organizers for giving us this extra time. I guess I could have started with my pitch. The thing is, I'm going to turn this so can I turn this so we can be in the video? There we go. Alright, is that the first slide? Okay. You go, there's one more before that, but that's fine. Alright. We are Elise E-Games. I am Roberto. I'm Mark. David.
I'm Anna.
There's a crisis in the education of kids around the world today. There are not enough teachers for every student. And at the same time, the gaming industry is exploding. The revenues of the game industry have gone from $5 billion to $25 billion in just 10 years. We want to use that engagement that students have, or kids have, with games, and harness it to help them get the educational skills they need to succeed. We also want to start a dialogue between parents, teachers, and students. At Felice E-Games, we create educational parodies of the best, most popular games that the kids absolutely love. So you've heard of Angry Birds. We have Angry Frogs. And in this game, students use mathematical calculations and skills and learn about angles, geometry, to hurl frogs at the targets. You've heard of Farmville. We have Techville. Students use math and science skills to build their own tech company and take on, amazing contributions to the world, like Felice E-Games. And you've also heard of Candy Crush? Well, we have Jungle Crush, and this is a game that would teach scientific classifications of different animals. You would swipe to group mammals, reptiles, and birds.
Okay, so since Roberto and I come from Mexico, we're taking the best educational practices from the core curriculum into this mini games. So the idea is to give the teachers these mini games for free so they can use them with the students. The kids love it and the parents love it. And so for a low $5 monthly fee, they can access a website platform and get access to all the mini games. And so there's a good interaction between the teacher, the student, and the parents, because the parents can see how the kid is progressing in the mini game. So once, for example, it's organized in tiers, he completes math, then he can go on to algebra. He can organize in a well-organized fashion. And so the parent gets feedback on how his kid's doing at school, and this information is really important for the parents, and everybody wants to know.
Right, so David has mentioned that we have a subscription model at $5 a month.
So our customer acquisition strategy is to start with a pilot program in their hometown, in David and Roberto's hometown, which is Salamanca, Mexico. We estimate that there are 10,000 students in third grade, which is the grade that we would start with because David had taught third grade there. And there are, so in the world, there are 700 million students enrolled in primary education. And our goal is that within 3 to 5 years, we will reach 1% of that, which is 7 million. And then from 6 to 8 years, we want to reach 5%, which is 35 million. And then in 10 years, we want to reach 10%, which is 70 million. I think that wraps it up. Thanks so much.
Can you say more about how the content of the names is organized? Is it standards-based, or tracking mastery and assessments, or is it literally just games?
Okay, so we specialize in the games. So right now it's just the games, but obviously we would like to have a complete platform website where there's also assessments, assignments. It lets you interact in a bigger way. This is just the first step. And also wanted to mention that it's really important that two big characteristics is that it's of these disparities and it's transversal. So in the same minigame class, you want to take advantage of the time. So you teach, English, and you're also teaching science at the same time. So that's really important too.
And actually, it is standards-based. So right now, we're our first version will be for Mexico, right? And there are standards for every country. In the U.S., we just call it the Common Core. But in other, like for Mexico, when we talked about it, they have specific, we actually looked at very, very specific objectives for a certain subject. And so the games would have that content for third grade, which is our first game.
Have you thought about what platforms and what technology the games will be built on, and what platforms will work?
Okay, so none of us are game developers here. I'm I guess the technical person on the team, but I do front end. So we don't know. We don't have the answer to that. We didn't find a developer here to join our team.
Yeah, but we have people we met in this event. I would like to mention our friend Emmy, and she has a very nice website where she has lots of applications. I'm not sure what she uses, but I'm sure there's different types of maybe gamification, or do you want to say? Oh yeah, thank you. Oh yeah, maybe. Say that. Just stay with us. But yeah, I heard a few questions. Maybe they'll ask the same question.
How is the recording possible?
So the recording, it has to be like two basic aspects. First, you have to score the kid, right? Score how his progress is done, and then the report can either go through an email or a text. So there's different ways you can do that.
How do you know, or how do the parents know that the students are doing the same or what they're doing in class?
Well, because we mentioned that it's based on the core curriculum standards of the educational institutions. Right now, we're taking like the Mexican model as an example, right?
Next up, we have reading with relevance. Thanks again.
Last week I went to one of our high schools, and I was struck with how many of the students were wearing these laminated photo necklaces. And I asked one of the students, Andre, what that was all about. And he told me that they were memorial necklaces for all of his friends and families that had been killed and murdered. He was wearing 6 necklaces. It's such a powerful visual representation of the loss our students experience every day. And throughout urban areas, Oakland being one of them, our students are dealing with such intense and challenging things. How do you cope with all of this?
As a 5th grade teacher, I need a tool that's going to help me address the multitude of social, emotional, academic, engage the students, and save me time. I searched for this product before and it doesn't exist. I need this tool and my students need this tool.
The fact of the matter is, too few of our students are receiving content during their school day that really matters to them and helps them cope with the social and emotional pressures that they face outside of school. But social and emotional learning really accelerates students' academic performance. When we teach students explicit social and emotional skills, they have improved motivation, improved relationships with their peers, and an increased sense of connection to themselves and to other people in their community. That's why we built Reading with Relevance. Reading with Relevance is about supporting students' academic engagement by equipping them with the social and emotional tools that they desperately need to succeed, both in and out of the classroom. So how does it work? So in every lesson plan, our students are guided with their educators through 6 intentional activities that teach both academic skills and social emotional skills. And the results have been incredible. We've piloted and field tested this program in Oakland schools along with a handful of other partners. And we've seen that whether in after-school settings, summer school, classrooms, or intervention programs, our students improve in their attendance, their grades, and their performance on standardized tests. So, we've spent this weekend developing a multimedia digital platform that finally will put this curriculum in the hands of educators across the country. So Reading with Relevance is about accessing digital content online, lesson plans across a variety of books and interests. It's so important for us to make social and emotional themes accessible and relevant for our young people. Some of the things that we built into the digital tool this weekend are expository and digitally rich links that allow our students to place the content they're reading in context. Some of the parent engagement pieces that flip the engagement model and send students home with questions and activities to communicate with their parents. And finally, we've uploaded a dynamic teacher feedback tool that allows our instructors to let us know what's working, what's not working, and how they've modified the lessons to meet the needs of their students. So we spent this weekend building this tool to push out and scale for impact and get these lessons in the hands of teachers around the country. And the great news is that we also have a great business model. So we know that we can charge about $150 for a subscription model and that there are plenty of funding streams available now to students and teachers to make this happen. And if we could access just 10% of the educators just here in California, we could be bringing in $4.5 million just this year. And we're ready.
You mentioned a lot of field testing. Was that with paper materials, and then you built the tool?
Absolutely. So what we came here to do this weekend was to create a distribution platform that would allow us to scale these tools out to teachers all over. What we came to this weekend with was the knowledge that this type of approach to teaching literacy skills really works with students like the kind we serve here in Oakland.
So, on what you actually built this weekend, I saw
screenshots or wireframes?
Yes, so you saw a wireframe of our interactive teacher hub where teachers would have a subscription and could log in and access not just lesson plans for one book, but every book in our collection, along with a variety of new resources and tools that we've never had available. So the digital media piece, so students using Chromebooks here in Oakland could watch a video about the Black Panther Party if they're reading a novel based here in 1968. We also built the teacher feedback and dialogue tool in wireframe because we know how important it is for teachers to express with each other in a learning community what they're doing that really works for their young people. It's not about having all the solutions. It's about creating a platform that says that how kids feel about themselves matters to their academic achievement.
Can you clarify, is this an ELA integrated with SEL curriculum that is come from?
Absolutely. So the curriculum is a Common Core, focused, centered, novel-based, culturally relevant, socially and emotionally rich program that requires no time for teachers. You can pick it up and teach it tomorrow with 15 minutes of training.
I have a question regarding just the scaffolding ability around this, because we know a lot of kids are not being at first level and high school students versus elementary K-12.
So this curriculum tool was built with those exact students in mind. So we've worked with some of the lowest performing students in Oakland Unified Schools over the last 10 years. And what we know is they need content that's going to be really relevant to their lives, but also applicable for their current reading level.
My question is, as an English teacher for middle school students, I see some wonderful books up there, but I also see a lot of books that are for second graders. And so, have you considered a different payment model that wouldn't be a subscription, but book to book? Because I would want just the 2 books that are relevant for my students and not the yearly subscription model.
Absolutely. In fact, as a team, we really talked a lot about different models because for us, the core goal that inspires us is impact, getting this into the hands of teachers, tools that are going to be relevant and help you in your job today, tomorrow, next week. So for us, the strategy of how it goes to market is something we're pretty flexible about. And we know that this works already because these are models that teachers are already using, but we're really open to how we can best serve the need.
Great. So our focus is on parent engagement here in Oakland. So can you speak a little bit more to that? That you mentioned it.
Absolutely. Well, parent engagement is not an easy problem to solve. And we really wanted to change the dynamic. If parents are asking social and emotional questions about their children at the end of the day, you're not very likely to get them to open up about drugs and alcohol and bullying and pressuring, when you ask them a question. But if you send an example lesson like one of our examples was, make a family meal with your family and talk about where that recipe came from. How does that represent your culture, your heritage, people in your family? There are also conversation starters we send home with our students. So we're reading a book about 1968 in Oakland. Did you live in Oakland in 1968? What was it like? What did you feel like at that time? What was going on? This is what I've read. So instead of waiting for parents to reach out to their students, we're pushing students home with homework-based activities that teachers send home that allow them to engage with their parents on their own terms and with their own agency.
Next, we have rules of education.
Yeah.
Hi, we're Roblox. Our goal is to engage our youth with problem-solving education. How many of you in this room work within a science, technology, engineering, math-related field? That's pretty decent. Did you know? Today in the United States, there is a skills gap crisis. Within 4 years, the demand of STEM jobs will increase by 17%. Yet, 1.2 million will go unmet by Americans. The lack of knowledge is a problem. However, most disheartening to hear there remains to be a complete disinterest. Currently, nonprofits running STEM programs are indeed launching STEM programs all over the United States within local schools. Meanwhile, schools are actively utilizing educational robotics. Educational robotics are more than just a guide to programming. They have become an environment for problem solving, design motivation, and most importantly, critical freedom of thought. Let us show you robots.
Robots is a super low-cost educational robotics platform that, in this case, is built out of recycled materials. We used a total of $60 components for this robot.
Now Greg, a former founder of a children's robotic tech camp named Tech Lab Education, will share his experience working with children and robotics.
So, last year in March, I was asked by a student just randomly if I can build a robot, and I said yes. And he says, "Can you show me how to build a robot?" And I said, "Sure." He's like, "Can I bring my friends?" So I knew it. 10 students were there, and we went over how to build it completely from scratch using, at the time, Arduinos and servo motors. So, like, my students were like super engaged, like really like jumping up and down. Like, we can build robots. Like, let's do this. Let's come after school, reschedule everything, and just build robots after school. And it's I still do that over it. Sorry, Miss Valley.
Next slide. So within the market, we show some of our current competitors based on capabilities of our product and capability cost, which is realistically the most limiting factor today.
Just a quick interpretation of the graphic. We've got we meet the capability point of a $2,000 robot, and we're under the lowest competitor's cost point of $500. So, go to the next slide. Okay, so our real product value is that we have a robust hardware platform, incredible capabilities for learning, and
What's the business model? Why, thank you.
So today we built an open source API, or this weekend we built a totally open source API. So all of the work we put into this thing is free and available for anybody to use. The business plan would be to sell the support. So we have a tiered program, a tiered model that falls under subscription. It's got two levels: $2, $5, $20 a month. It involves everything from total hand holding to e-workshops.
It's entirely a freedom model. And then we also have our online store, which we would eventually drive parents to be the main consumer. So accessories, casing, aesthetics, anything you can think of within Lego. Actually, we just want to be Lego.
So I'm actually really glad you asked that question. So one of the main selling points I think for this product is that it is cheap enough that it could go home to families. So the schools can acquire them at around $70 a piece. You go home to families, and what's inside of it is a full Linux computer. So it actually works to bridge the gap, the communication technology gap that exists between families and schools, where this device can come home and work as a computer for a family that is, in West Oakland specifically, we have a free Wi-Fi mesh. So there's internet across or soon there will be free internet across the city. And so you combine that with a low-cost computer, and everybody can talk to everybody.
What do they actually get? So they get.
So what you're getting here is some wheels and motors, a computer that goes inside of the thing, a power circuit, some sensors, an accelerometer, gyroscope, compass. Yes, they totally build it. So they got something like this. And, they can build one anywhere from about an hour to you can decorate it take all day. We built about 6 of them this weekend. And it works with everything from Scratch, Python, Java, C++.
Directions? I mean, I think I think like step by step. Parent doesn't need to know exact directions. Exactly. And I think schools, I think, teachers are going to be teaching some foundational lessons that kids can actually. There's really two different. Yeah. So that's where our education platform comes in. So the initial is a free community with basic info videos on how to actually put it together and make football forwards and whatnot. Tier 1 would actually be more complex videos. Meanwhile, Tier 3 would be directed towards the teachers about the lessons.
Next up, we have school voices.
So.
Sorry, I'm sorry about that.
Oh. Sorry about that. Can people hear me? I'm kind of scared of that mic. So.
Well, okay.
Can I project? Does that work?
This is the training for the microphone. If you don't put it this way, you want to put it at a 30 to 45 degree angle.
Too many things to think about. Can people hear me? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Good. Okay. So who's ready? All right. So, as a member of the school board in San Francisco Unified, I visited over 50 schools to talk to students about their experiences. And two things have stuck out. One, students have a lot to say about their school environment and how to improve them to increase student engagement. I have evidence of that. I have 3,000 of these posted of ideas and feedback that students have given. The other thing that I've noticed, the second thing, is that when I've done these visits with students, I've often had the principals there watching, furiously taking notes, and telling me that they're hearing many of these things for the very first time. So what this tells me is that we lack a way for students to share their ideas in an easy and effective way, for them to give feedback and comments about decisions that are being made about them, and to take initiative to improve their school environment, to increase student engagement. What we need is user voice for schools, plus crowdsourcing for student governments. What this is going to be is school voices. So here's how it works. Students and staff can post school-related polls or ideas, better than Post-its, and I love Post-its as much as the next person. But they can post school-related polls or ideas, things that they want to change, things that are maybe on their mind, experiences that they've had, or for the staff, there are many decisions that they have to make. They have to make budgeting decisions, curriculum, programming. They can get direct feedback from students using this tool. Then the school community will respond with comments and votes. So you can upvote the things that you like, and the idea is that the things with a lot of popularity or a lot of interest, or that the students are thinking a lot about, they'll rise to the top. And also for decision makers, this can then inform their school decisions. But the other thing about our program is that it's not just about having conversation and responding to polls. It's also about taking action and launching projects. So here's how it goes. This is what the homepage is. On the left, you can see a set of ideas that are being discussed in the school community that could either be put up by students or by staff. you see offer a psychology class, a student chill room, all these sorts of ideas that students know directly other students are talking about in the room. Then you can put up a poll, either related to an idea or coming on its own. The district can do this, they can be related to school priorities, and you can scroll down and see all the polls that are taking place. Some of them are related to school events, some of them are related to school-based decisions, or some are related to just things that are on students' minds. And then what's great is you can take these ideas of polls and turn them into projects, turn them to things that can actually happen. So maybe if somebody wants a class and it can't be offered next year, maybe they can start a psychology club. Maybe there are other ways that they can launch from the idea or the poll and take it into action. The other big thing is that we want to make sure that this is moderated. A lot of folks have given us feedback that it needs to reflect the needs that teachers have. And so there are a lot of options around privacy, a lot of options that allow them to customize this for the school and ensure that actually in the school community they're having these conversations about online etiquette and ethics. We've got great feedback. We spent a lot of time sending this out to superintendents, to principals, and they've told us they want to try this right now. This is a need that they have. They need to know more from their students and the decisions that they've made. So principals, school leaders, superintendents have all told us that this is something that they want to try right now, and the decisions that they're making in students' needs reflect a tool like this and the efficacy that they have in their school. So how are we going to make money and how are we going to make this work? We hope that we will be embraced by foundations, and we're very interested in a nonprofit model, but we also want to explore a for-profit model. So we believe that schools right now are having to think a lot more about student engagement and other sorts of tools to measure that, and that this can help to increase attendance, reduce truancy, and that schools would see a value of this by paying on a per-month basis. We're a diverse group. We've got developers, designers, and we're ready to get started on this, and we have schools that want to work with us.
You have 3 minutes now because the rest of the pitches from here on aren't parent advocacy or community engagement pitches, so you have 3 minutes.
Great. There are a lot of surveys that go through systems around student satisfaction. Do you see this kind of coupled in that way? What is it? There's a California statewide. Do you see this coupled in a way with that?
Yeah, so I work for Aspire Public Schools, and I work really closely on our whole survey platform. So we do peer, family, student surveys. And what makes this unique is these are immediate kind of organic surveys that are happening, where the surveys I'm doing at Aspire are kind of holistically, how is the school doing, the one-time touch with the students, and this would be very much, what do you think prom should be this year, or what do you want to eat for lunch on Wednesday, or what is this new policy, how will this affect you? Yeah.
So it was a little hard to judge from the mock-up. How mobile oriented is this?
We started just with a desktop mock-up, and in the future state plan, we just phased it into mobile smartphones, but the idea is we didn't want to make the assumption that all students have accessibility to smartphones, so we started with just the desktop. But it would be responsive.
So, does student access to web fit with this whole idea of sort of instant, informal responses to stuff? Do you think about doing something that will work with it?
So we'll work with
to keep the report, we wanted to have the ability to track it, use the data analysis or polling, so we didn't take an SMS and enter it.
We did consider text feedback mechanism, but we wanted to keep it streamlined and simple for the start.
And I think a big part of it is the project point, and that isn't handled as well to talk about.
We're certainly going to explore that.
Can kids just initiate ideas or just online? The administrators have, basically the main admin has the decision to whether or not that's possible. And there's also flagging that can happen, so they can decide, posting it down, short monitor, approved to put it back up. They can actually decide the level of engagement for the monitors. So depending on, if they feel like it's going to take up too much time to monitor, they have to just be taken down through deletion. There's a few different admin settings that would make it flexible.
It's not about maybe potentially like, I guess something like a student spring rising happening here, but
There's a potential for, so there's a potential for lots of things to come up that, the administration doesn't necessarily want to be school-wide. So, like I said, so flagging and take down from posts. You can put in censorship if desired, but the idea is that it would be,
Up next, we have Math Wrench. If you guys want to use the mic, just don't hold it.
Thank you, Doctor. My name is Seth, and these are some of my students that I teach at a Title I high school in North Carolina. Every day, I see my students come in, and they are able to master procedural skills. But there is a huge gap. They have no opportunity to apply what they've learned, and as a result, they have no conceptual understanding of how math works. It's a complete foreign language to them. As a result, my students go on to fail algebra and are 4 times more likely to drop out of high school. I live in a community where this is very real, and students are 8 times more likely to end up in prison. This is not okay.
Our students are failing algebra because they don't have a conceptual understanding. Our teachers are not giving them that conceptual understanding because they don't have the time to find or create the resources for those students. Instead, they overly rely on skills and procedures in their classrooms. That's where Math Wrench comes in. Math Wrench provides teachers highest quality projects so they can make their classrooms come to life. Math Wrench is going to come at us in 3 phases. Phase 1, we're going to curate the highest quality projects out there. Projects that are already out there and teachers have created, we're going to put them in a spot where teachers can access them. Phase 2 deals with our most important students. Students that can master individual skills, but still have a tough time connecting those individual skills to the real world. We're going to provide extra scaffolding in there for those students. And then phase 3, we're going to take those curated projects, and we're going to test their effectiveness through randomized control trials, much like you would test the effectiveness of a new drug on the market. We're going to take a look here now at a Math Wrench project. 1, 2, and 3 are Khan Academy exercises that scaffold up to number 4, which is a Math Wrench creation based on a Dan Meyer lesson. Dan Meyer's a fantastic teacher that's already done this work with the actual projects. Here, number 1 is the 5 Common Core objectives that this project is aligned to. This is what the students are going to be applying. And 2 is the competency-based rubric where teachers will assess their students and their progress. The project actually deals with racing Rich Eisen, an engaging lesson for the students. They're going to be asked a couple of questions to anchor them in to the actual project of what's going on. Second piece is they're going to watch Rich Eisen actually run a race. He's going to be in his suit, it's going to be flapping behind him, he's going to be racing as hard as he can go. It's an engaging lesson, there goes Rich Eisen. As this happens, students are thinking about linear equations, y-intercept, x-intercept, proportions, ratios, all of the objectives that we talked about bringing together. And then we're going to follow it up with additional questions that really make students apply the skills they've mastered on beautiful sites like Khan Academy.
This weekend, we talked to the 5 algebra teachers in our district, and every single one of them wants Math Wrench in their classroom on Monday. The biggest reason is right now they just do not have the time to A, find these high-quality projects, and then B, make them accessible to their students and link them to their curriculum and Common Core objectives. We also talked to 2 principals in our district who want to buy this product because they can empathize with our teachers' pain. They named price points for us this weekend that they would want to pay to have MathWrench in their schools. Our timeline for implementation is to start with a teacher invite beta test. From that, we'll get feedback and gather data, and then build a minimum viable product that we will sell to districts and principals starting in fall of 2014. Based on what our principals told us, they'd be willing to pay $12 per student a year on a subscription model, which will give us revenue of $2.5 million. Right now, what is out there does a great job at building skills, but there is no application. Mathlicious can do a nice job of application on a lesson, but MathWrench is different because we are competency-based and we give students a chance to transfer all of those objectives through application. We are MathWrench. For sure. So right now what we're seeing is in our traditional classrooms, teachers are teaching the Common Core standards. Along with a LearnBot for Khan blended environment, kids are doing a great job at mastering individual skills. But then when it comes to actually applying that, they don't get that through LearnBot, Khan, or the traditional classroom. So it's as if they know the skill, but they don't know how to apply it or use it. Mathlicious is pushing that forward, and they're doing a nice job of getting some application into those lessons. And MathWrench is pushing even farther because we're going to be competency-based, and we want those projects to give those kids a chance to actually apply all those skills they've been mastering and learning.
I heard what you just said, but I don't understand how. I think you framed the problem really well, but I'm still confused about the solution. Other than just kind of taking into account K-12 kind of bureaucracy procedure, I don't know if it's pedagogically different about your approach.
For sure. We live every day, and what we see is these mastering of skills, but then there's no cohesion or no coherent view. Taking the best of what's out there, the Dan Meyer approach of his lessons, great lessons, adapting them pedagogically so that they incorporate all those Common Core objectives, and taking the time a teacher would have to do that away so that they can just focus on teaching. So here's a great project out there, but a teacher isn't accessing it or giving it to their kids, and MathWrench would be the gap. And how would be our value that we'd have to deliver on and be able to show you through the trials and through engaging students.
So you're curating a live lesson.
Yeah, so there's these beautiful projects out there. Dan Meyer's made them. All teachers have this one project they love that they're not so excited about. We're going to take the best projects from the individual teachers, put them into a library so it's curated, ask teachers what's the best, and then eventually follow that up with additional scaffolding for students to get to those projects, and finally run randomized control trials to see which project is actually the most effective when we're talking about long-term outcomes for students.
Have you thought about getting rights to the projects or involving the teachers that made the projects?
Yeah, really good question. We've been in discussions with Dan Meyer about the example we used in the video, and then the plan would be built into our revenue model. Teachers would get some portion of payment when their lessons are used. Our principals told us between $10 and $15, so that's why we chose 12.
And so up next, we have Engage 'em. Put it at an angle, let it straight up.
We'll go without it.
Or you can go without it, whatever you feel comfortable with. You can do it either way.
Hi, we're engaging. The new Common Core standards require whole group discussion in the classroom, but students are not engaging and teachers are doing all of the talking. In addition, there is no systematic way for teachers, schools, or districts to collect student engagement data. So the solution is Engagem, a web-based teacher tool used to make multimedia presentations and collect student engagement data during academic discussions. Now Brendan will show us how it works.
So this is our web-based tool where educators can come and be able to create slides of their students participating in their activities and use the academic language for the activities. They're also able to use a point system eventually through their cell phone, but right now it would be through their computer where they'd be able to track the students' academic discussion. And so this is the way they would build a slide. They could go over and show, they would upload pictures, they would name the slideshow basically about a certain lesson. So for example, if we did the hearts of an animal and cut them up and add the vocabulary words that were part of the academic discussion. And then this is what it would look like. So we have here students showing them dissecting a pig's heart, and then we have guiding questions. How does blood flow through the heart? And you would be able to eventually click on the different areas here where we can flash the words. Here are the academic words here. And then also when they're using the vocabulary words by making claims with evidence, we click on their names and they're able to get points for all of them. There's peer-to-peer points for building off one another and higher level thinking. And so this is something that we can do real time, including what are the open startups you looking for.
So one thing that we, how this kind of came about, I'm a principal, I go to different schools. In Oakland we do instructional rounds. We're seeing that like in the lower grades, the kids are real eager, they like to talk. And then kind of by like second grade, they want to be real creative and kind of invent their own things. And teachers are always like, no, that's not right. So by the time they're like in third, fourth grade, they're shut down. They don't want to share anymore. They don't want to talk. And so the teachers are up there like pulling teeth, and teachers aren't dentists, right? They don't pull teeth. They're trying to get kids engaged. And so what happens is the teachers are doing all the talking, and they're the ones defining words, whatever. So we really want to put the facilitation on the kids. The kids can actually sit in the circle. They can be the ones asking if you want to do this. So the teacher takes the back role and is just managing the presentation tools live and showing things and calculating the points. So it's really letting the kids do all of the talking. So we've thought about this. Actually, the calculating the points is really like major, because right now there really is not a way to collect data on academic discussion. And right now with the Common Core, it's a big thing. We're talking about academic discussion, but there's no way to measure it. So if we would actually go out to look for districts, schools and districts to really get this, do subscriptions.
So this platform shared by device, or
it's a web-based interface, so you could use any mobile device, or a teacher could present it from their desktop computer or their laptop.
So will students be working collaboratively together, or is individual students working on each project?
It's a teacher tool. Teacher tool only. Yeah.
Okay, so I hate to be slow, but I'm ADHD. How does it work again? So the teacher records observations about the types of thought processes the students are
So think of it as a combination between PowerPoint and Class Dojo. So a
base these presentations like slideshows, but instead of the teacher doing any talking, it's also like a model of how you would get kids to facilitate. So the kids would ask other questions. So when the teacher's showing the slide of the kids cutting up the heart, that's kind of what the interface was, that you could see, you could show or hide. And if no one's saying anything, the teacher can flash words that are important that the kids might not need. Or if it's English language learners and they're really having a hard time with vocabulary, the teacher's managing the visuals based on her student needs or his student needs. And at the same time, because they're at the computer, they can say, all right, that kid just said this vocabulary word, he backed it up with evidence, he gets that point. You can turn off like sounds, like the bells and whistles, literally, that some kids might need. Maybe in the upper grades they don't need it, maybe they need it in lower grades. So it's a way to validate what kids are saying, and it's also a way to track who's talking, or what kind of conversations are they having. Because right now a lot of the kids say, my evidence says this, my evidence says this, my evidence says this, but they're not talking to each other. So those are kind of worth more points when they say, I agree with so-and-so. Or based on what he said, now I think this, which is a higher level. So you can track that, and that's why it had like the 3 different little icons. So you would track that, and then the database that is web-based would be able to print reports, school level, district-wide. Subscription, yeah. Districts, kind of targeting schools or districts. That would be like the second or third phase, and also depending on infrastructure, because some of the people we're talking about, we want to make sure districts or schools have the infrastructure to, if it's web, that you wouldn't want to play a video and then have it be buffering. It could be optional. Some people like to really show that, so kids know that they're building up to something, and others, right, and not. So we considered if it was on the other side, the teacher could kind of close the window a little shortly and only show the visuals of them working, or show the play.
Please welcome here now to the stage.
Can you hear me? Okay? Can I go? Alright, hello. We are Team Peer Now. We are disrupting the college tutoring market through peer-to-peer matching. Inconvenient college services, expensive tutoring models built for high school parents, and impersonal online options just do not meet the needs of busy college students. The Peer Now mobile app matches college students with other college students who are willing to help. Our name price real-time matching model makes tutoring support affordable, convenient, and accessible for every college student. Now imagine, I'm a college student and I've been stuck on a problem for hours. My friend told me about this great new app where I can pay $1 and find a classmate that can help. So I download this free app, create a profile using my .edu email address, put my credit card information, and name the subject that I need help on at a time that works for me. I browse the recruiters that are available nearby, decide who's the best match for me, and make them an offer. I can set my price or ask for free help, and the tutor can accept or decline my offer. Once they accept, we are connected to a private text line to set the exact time and place on campus to meet. After our session, we rate one another so that fellow students know what it is like to work with us. Peer Now targets the college tutoring market. Our research says that 50% of college students are interested in Tutoring. Among current college tutors, 20% are interested in obtaining more tutoring hours. We also estimate that U.S. college students need help 640 million times a year. The opportunity to fill the struggle gap with our app really excites us. So how will we make money with this app exactly? It's simple. We charge the learner a $1 transaction fee per match, and we'll make premium subscription options available for tutors. How will students find out about us? We will tap into the campus culture, both in person and online. And how do we plan to grow? We believe that there's tremendous expansion opportunity for high school market, young professionals market, as well as international market. Any questions? Relax. Your peer is here.
I'll do one softball question, which is who did your design because it was very good. The other is, and this actually was an applicable to any of the teams prior to this, but you kind of were asked and you mentioned of potential competitors. There are a lot of analogs that are web-based. I think our mention would be good there.
Absolutely. So there's definitely a ton of competitors and it's a saturated market, but what makes us unique is it's not necessarily about the tutoring component, but instead about the matching piece. And so we have some different differentiators. So one is the immediate access. You say you need someone when you need them and you get that support. The other is that it's flexible on the tutor side. So as a tutor, you get to say, I'm on call now, I'd love to come and help you whenever I'm available. It's relevant, so we're leveraging the community piece. A lot of the online models, such as with Wisant, and like other ed startups, they do not have the community knowledge to know, oh, in Econ 101 with this professor, this is the topic that's being covered this week. It's accessible, so this is something that a student who might not be able to pay $40 for an online tutoring session can go on and try to access free help or say, I'll pay you $5 for 20 minutes and see if there's a market that will support that. It's simple, so it's not on the tutor side. You don't have to submit a resume, you don't have to go through an arduous process, and it really increases access. It's also, as I mentioned, affordable. It's learners setting the price rather than tutors.
Thank you.
So there's absolutely no confidence, just connecting and matching people. That's a dating site.
Yep.
Yes.
Tinder or tutoring.
Imagine the cute girls you can meet on campus with the tutor.
In a library, well studied.
Just like our professor.
We have some meeting tips on our website.
Thank you for your time.
Please welcome Pathfinder to the stage.
Hi everyone, my name is Claire and we are Pathfinder. Pathfinder is a web-based app that connects community college students to young professionals that are working in STEM and tech fields. Through our market research, we found that the STEM fields, the supply of talent is really not keeping up with demand, that community college students lack the knowledge about career pathways in STEM and tech, and career counseling for them has been inadequate. So the result is that too few students are entering into STEM careers, and the U.S. is losing its competitive advantage in the STEM industries. Our platform, Pathfinder, links community college students to young professionals working in the STEM and tech fields. It offers them access to information and support from these professionals that is relevant to those professions. It offers them access to networks and social capital that they wouldn't otherwise access.
and also opportunities to try working on world challenges offered by our corporate. So over the course of the weekend, we were able to build a web page, and I'll talk through some of our landing pages. So we have a landing page that introduces you and the student to our core value proposition. Students are able to select select their own interests, and through that they're able to access mentors, topics, and information about jobs and careers in the field. We did a market survey and found that the majority of professionals in this field are open to providing mentorship. Over 75% were interested in that, as well as a vast majority of students want to learn about these professional pathways. It's a solvable problem, and there's demand on both sides and supply on both sides. We decided that we would like to do a nonprofit revenue model focused on generating foundation grants, government grants, and also generating service revenue from community colleges and districts. For our corporate partners, we would charge a platform fee so that they could host challenges and competitions that our student mentees would get engaged with. And how will we do this? We'll do it through partnerships with colleges and districts, tech companies, community networks, and we'd start locally. We'd start here in the Bay Area and take it out from there. Additionally, we investigated the addressable market for this type of a service, and we know that there are about 7.5 million community college students nationwide. There are 70,000 in Alameda County alone. That there are 16 million employed young professionals, and that 20% of companies offer paid time off to their employees to volunteer. So we think that we need about $300,000 in operating expenses per year to do this. Our first steps would be to hire a program manager for the mentoring program, a business development officer, and a product manager. Through this weekend, we've been able to successfully identify a need for STEM mentorship. We've been able to develop prototype pages, and we've also developed a plan to target Bay Area community colleges. We think we'll need about $15,000 to launch this venture. And I want to say thanks to everybody here and to my team, and we look forward to your questions.
Did you run into whether other folks have done this sort of thing, and have you drawn any conclusions from what others have done? And I've personally been pitched at least twice on this business plan by teachers.
Yeah, we did look into our competitors. We found that none are really focusing specifically on the STEM tech, and that most of them are also a for-profit model. They're charging students for mentoring, like eVisor.
To talk more about that question, the competitors we looked at were more offering services for overall coaching and mentorship, not in a specific, like you said, not in a specific field, and also not providing more of that one-on-one mentorship in regards to where students really want to go.
Because of STEM field, that's a lot of, I think we're minorities, like folks of color, and also women, perhaps. Can you talk a little bit about your ability to kind of support those folks who typically don't get the support in the system? How are you going to be hopefully appropriate for those communities?
We were actually brainstorming about partnering up with the local school districts and be able to provide a service where we take charge of putting together a career fair for the schools so that the students get first-hand look into the careers in their immediate community. Here in Oakland, we are surrounded by all kinds of tech companies. So we could, for example, have a career fair hosted in Oakland where Google, Twitter, all the local tech companies can come and talk about the opportunities in the tech field. Again, the big disconnect is right. So what I'm getting.
My guess is that in those tech fields, there aren't a lot of women, there aren't a lot of people of color. So if I'm invested in this, and I have like an African American child in a community college, you know, I love this, but you got to be able to reach her, and it's for myself.
Yes, so flat out, the strategy is to have exposure to the students so that they are aware, because right now, if the student, there is this tech job, they're going to say, it's too hard, I don't want to do it, I would rather play basketball and try to go to the NFL.
As you mentioned, most of these companies have the community outreach programs, and I myself have seen workplaces where people get time off to spend some time with the community. And I think what we're really going to target is tech companies, these big tech companies which want more diversity in the workplace, which want more women entering the workplace. And we want to focus events around the same time that the companies are also focusing events for the employees to take time off. And we want to be able to match the schedules of both people in the community colleges as well as folks in the tech industry.
Please welcome your voice to the stage. All right, my name is Nina Portugal, and I am a third-year educator and the current English language development teacher at Casamont High School here in East Oakland. There is a growing niche population in our English learners, and that is the long-term English learner for the LTEL. These students are not progressing, they're not reclassifying. Therefore, they are having trouble with their casing, they're having trouble getting A through G requirements, and it is a huge, huge problem. It's an injustice. They are one of the highest dropout cohorts in Oakland USD in 2012. And my students have potential. They have so much they want to say, they just don't have the language features to construct their arguments to say it. And so in my classroom, I saw the instructional benefit of having my students record themselves, transcribe what they had, write it out, look at it, and analyze it. It took me forever. 20 minutes per student, it took forever to give feedback. This weekend, my dream came to light with instant feedback on a website called Rock Your Voice. Let's check it out. Demo. All right. When the students get to the website, it's engaging. Currently, we're studying sleep deprivation, a high-quality topic for teenagers. When they get there, it's important that all 4 linguistic domains are met. So first, they're going to watch a video. This is listening. Next, they're going to read out it. Short text, or ELs. You don't want to bog them down with vocabulary and content. Language always comes first in the English development classroom. Next, they have the chance to listen to an exemplar. We always want them to know how they can be great. Let them hear it. Let them practice. Next, they record. So we're going to record for you a quick demo. I just need absolute silence so you can check it out. In my opinion, there are several consequences of sleep deprivation. For example, exhausted adolescents have trouble concentrating and staying awake in class. So as a teacher, the things I'm looking for, if you click on the side, you see transition, fanboys, compound complex sentences, precision. We don't want our students saying things, cool, yeah, you know, that's what it is. Honestly, I don't know what you're saying. I love you, but I just don't know, right? So it's going to be explained to them. They're going to get a score. They're going to get a feedback. So next, there's a notebook. My students need to know they need to be held accountable what I'm assigning to them. So that's what's going on. They have badges. They're earning points. Next, chat. So lastly, the last domain is writing. Here, the students are engaging in a silent academic discussion. They're agreeing, they're negotiating, they're challenging their peers. And as a teacher, I can give stars and I can let them know if they're doing what's great. Lastly, the admin page. Teachers need data. This is all about differentiation. I want to meet my student where they're at, and I want to know how I can help them. So I have data based on those linguistic features.
Also, the students can try again and again. I want them to keep trying. So that data will also be shown with how much time they're on each page, how many times are they trying, as well as archiving the recordings. So we can look back, right? So I talked to a student last night, and I'm like, what you do in August on these, we can compare to what you do in June. And we can argue, let's get you out of ELD. You can do it, and that's what's important. Business plan.
So we have a few slides, but we're out of time. So the bottom line is nobody else focuses on this market. English language learning.
Thanks for asking.
We have to provide a free trial so that teachers can try it out and see the value. And after that subscription model, currently curricula go up to $100 a student, and so we think somewhere between an app model and a curriculum model is where we'll end up on price.
So what do you have to build this weekend?
Well, it's doing voice recognition. It's all running in Chrome, so a lot of it's developed on Chromebooks. So anyone who's it's voice.
There's a voice recognition system there, but it actually runs in the browser, so it's pretty easy to build. It's in Chrome right now, but it's a JavaScript API. It'll eventually be in all browsers. So basically, it's a Google API for voice recognition. And then we run our own algorithms for actually the heuristics for actually analyzing that. So there's some rough client-side analysis going on, first pass on it. Second pass is that goes into the teacher, and they actually make more kind of cognitive analysis, and then we have like peer-to-peer comparisons.
Do you know each other before this, or you stuck together here?
This was an idea I developed in the fall, and I've been thinking about, and I used it this week in my class.
Just out of interest, the site is actually live right now. That wasn't a demo. So the URL that was on the bottom there, ltel.roadthroughapp.com. Everybody check it out. We'd love to, we'll grade your English.
You are reading busting information. How are you actually differentiating the ELD levels in all different?
So, actually what I found in Oakland is that the majority of the secondary ELs are the long-term English learners. You're not really seeing a cell one. So Pasamon is 97% LTEL. I have one student who's a cell one, he's a newcomer, and that's it. And I have him in the ability class. So they're all very oral, social, and English. The differentiation are these linguistic markers. Transition phrases, fanboys or compound sentences, precise language, academic vocabulary, there's a list of 358 words all high schoolers should know by the time they go to college, as well as the absolute non-negotiable, but teachers just can't hear anymore. They're getting negative points for non-precise language, negative points for the non-negotiables, and positive points for the others. The students are going to be able to keep trying out the language, so it's differentiating as they're learning more.
And so that's really the differentiation from other products, is that it's not a set curriculum. It really analyzes their individual gaps that may not be apparent at first and helps address those through practice and through actually working the skills.
And it's also fun. I mean, we've got a combination of people from like solid education backgrounds through the game developers and engineers.
Hi, my name is Alice Park, and this is Desmond Rand, and we are Funbox. What Funbox is a monthly subscription service that sends science teachers fun, effective, and hands-on activities. So one of our mentors here has this really fun program that he said yesterday. A pixel can only go so far. We are not necessarily an education company, and that's for a reason. Okay? What he meant by this was that technology can only solve so many problems. For example, this microphone is probably not the best way to project my voice in this room, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that down. So here's the problem, okay? students are not engaged in science classes because they're not given enough hands-on activities. Okay? What instead is happening is this board student right here who's reading out of a textbook, he's given worksheets, and he's not having a good time, and he's not learning. So this is why this is happening. Teachers are spending money out of their own pockets. The average science teacher is spending around $350 of their own pocket money to fund their own classroom. They're spending hours of time after class and before class not only buying materials but setting it up. And there's barely anybody that is supplying these supplies for their science. For example, Word Science is charging $50 to $100 for a very simple science activity. RAT is only in 2 different places in the Bay Area, and thrift stores, well, you never really know what you're going to get there. All these people here that we surveyed have said that materials are expensive, and time to get materials is really tough and hard, and that's stopping them from doing activities in their class. So here's the solution.
Now our Funbox solution is that we need to get these three things under. We need the price to come down. We need the convenience to come up. And we need that those teachers are guaranteed to have effective and have their products and their teaching lessons follow the NGSS and Common Core. So we're going to have 8 to 10 lab activities in each fun box. And they're all consumable, reusable supplies, but they are collated and sorted so that everything you will ever need to teach this common unit is all going to be aligned inside this one box, so it's very simple for the teachers. Now, our fun box model, we thought maybe pure nonprofit, but we're thinking that it's going to be a co-op model because we want to empower the teachers even more. Co-op's great because it allows the teachers to be shareholders, stakeholders in their own educational environment and all the things that they need. So what we're going to be doing is teachers are subscribing to a yearly, each year they get their 10 fun boxes, and that's basically on a monthly rotation. So they can sign up on the website for each kind of box that they want, each unit, and it's going to be available from high school down to kindergarten. And so it's going to be mostly through a website vendor, but the key difference between a lot of what we've seen this evening and what we're doing is we actually are providing a hands-on product. So that's what we need, our warehouse distribution center, and we need to find corporate sponsors that are going to help us move this project along. Yeah, so a subscription will cost about $20 per fun box. We actually put this fun box together. It's a unit on density. And this unit on density took our teacher, part of our group, 3 hours and about $30, just over $30 to put together this 1 month box on density. So there's tons of stuff in there. Everything we need. The lesson plans are already ready, and it's been vetted by veteran teachers who are part of our organization, so that we are sure that these are effective and very powerful learning supplies. Well, there's also a teacher input section of our website. We can explain that. But the teacher validation is it's feedback, it's comments, best practices. So sharing that between all the users is a core function of our website. Yeah.
Basically, teachers can go online, they can submit an idea, and they'll have a discussion group where other teachers can go on and, you know, favorite their favorite boxes, and then the ones that are most favorites will turn into actual boxes. You know, all the, you know, NGSS approved and aligned to the standards in their state.
Share more about the model.
co-op model is tax advantaged. So we were thinking originally that we would a full nonprofit model so that we would have corporate sponsors, individual like parent donors. But we thought that we don't necessarily have to completely take that away in order to have even more engagement and connection with our teachers. So as a teacher, you are a personal shareholder. At the end of the year, all the money that Fundbox has made would be made available, all the above and beyond the operating costs would be made available as refunds to the current teachers and users, as well as rolled back into making the scalability a more tactical option.
Any questions from educators?
How many boxes have you guys created?
Just this one. Yeah, it's our first box. It wouldn't be painted, it would probably already be white.
Can a school accept boxes?
Yes. Happens all the time. Yeah?
It looks like the instructions like cooperative input,
Yeah, so teachers can go on the website and submit their own ideas, which will then
Please welcome Design Ed to the stage.
Hi. Students currently lack creative problem-solving abilities and a resilience to failure, which means that they lack skills that they need to get jobs in the real world. And part of this is related to the culture of rote memorization in our current education system. So in contrast, schools that use design thinking models to teach have found that students actually, they embrace failure as a way to learn, and they can do creative problem solving in a variety of contexts. But the real problem that we found in our extensive teacher interviews was that teachers simply lack the time to create curriculum that is Common Core aligned and supports creativity. So we, Design Ed, we created an offline and an online model, a solution that would allow, the offline part is a workshop that teachers take, and the online part is a comprehensive curriculum. So next, Jeremy is going to do a brief demo of what a workshop might look like.
All right, thank you teachers for making out to this professional development. I'm going to give you a couple pieces of paper and a popcorn, and I want you to tell me, does the volume of this cylinder hold more popcorn, or does this cylinder hold more popcorn? So I'll give you a couple minutes to do that.
So in these workshops, teachers have the opportunity to experience what it's like to be a student who has to do these design thinking challenges without a clear defined answer because they experience it themselves. And teachers are going to leave this workshop with 3 things. First, they're going to leave with the materials they need to implement the curriculum maybe the very next week. Second, they're going to leave with the understanding they need to do the curriculum because they'll have already practiced it in this workshop. And third, they're going to get access to expert teachers who are trained in design thinking, who answer their questions and help them really refine their teaching style. The other part of our solution is an online curriculum portal, and teachers will be able to do 3 things here. First, they'll be able to get access to a really rich, comprehensive curriculum model. So this is for high school starting out, and the curriculum will be Common Core aligned, and it will incorporate design thinking challenges. So teachers will also be able to connect with other teachers to share best practices, and they'll be able to see future opportunities for professional development. So for instance, if I'm a geometry teacher and I want to follow up on, for example, the workshop activity that we did that Jeremy just demonstrated, I would click over here, and then I would be able to click on this piece and see a really comprehensive, detailed lesson plan that I would need, just like step-by-step instructions. So basically we're trying to make it as easy as possible for teachers to just put design thinking in their classrooms by giving them high-quality curriculum that they can use right away. Next, we're going to look at our business model, and we plan to start with just a few workshops a year and scale up over the next couple of years. We project to be profitable by our second year, and we'll achieve this. We plan to charge teachers $400 a head, and the schools are going to pay for this. It's going to come out of their yearly budget for professional development, which can be up to $6,000 per teacher. And this $400 per teacher is going to get them the day-long in-person workshop. It's also going to get them access to curriculum online that they can use every single week. So just to introduce our team really quick, we have a variety of backgrounds, and we are design ed. We allow students to get creative problem solving and creative confidence through those two methods. Thank you.
Why would a school district choose you guys to come in and do the professional development?
Because currently there is really there's a great demand for this kind of training, and the places that are offering this training are already booked. Like the D School is booked. Lime Design, which also does this training, they're booked. So there's a gap in the market between the amount that teachers want to be trained and like just the availability of that training. And you want to fill that.
And in addition to the professional development, it will also include the curriculum. So you have the methodology of like how to teach it, and then you can use that for other lessons that will be on the website, which you'll get access to. So it's not only for the professional development.
So I feel like there's two products. There is definitely a need for design professional development, and there's definitely a need for online for design curriculum. Curious why in-person PD, which is going to definitely limit your ability to grow, and curious as to why you will just really do PD and curated content for teachers.
So I went to a lot of professional developments, and the really good ones like Exploratorium or ChemX Squared at Stanford. I went to the professional development and I understood like the methodology, but I'm like, can I get some curricula attached to this kind of thinking? And oftentimes they didn't have that. So I think it matches what I want as a teacher, is like how to do it, and I just need that once, and then how like all of the curriculum that's attached to that, which is really powerful once you have the tools to approach it.
It seems great, but why do you think they're willing to pay that much?
Well, they're paying for the professional development course as well as access, license access to all the content online. So it's not just the one day session, but it's the session and the content, and it comes as a package.
And when we looked at similar professional development, it ranged from $300 to $500. So ours was in the middle with the attached curriculum.
The gains in student achievement that come from like being able to implement this design thinking, we think really justify this one-time expenditure for the teacher, because the gains are infinite because of the curriculum. For teacher, we found a range. So it's up to $6,000 is the budget for. We call them spellbinders.
Hello everybody, I'm Francisco Nieto. I teach at Ascend here in Oakland, and I've been using this program called Words Their Way for a while I was in the classroom, and I noticed that it's very, very hard to manage.
Reina, my partner here, is going to put it back. This program is incredibly hard to manage, but it's very popular. It's about word studies, so that's spelling that people are doing in classrooms these days. To the next and group students in their need for spelling. So what I noticed is that there is no app. Just look at that. To manage a word study program, you have to manage binders and kind of little note cards and have to sort them. And kids love it, teachers love it. But like I said, it's hard to manage. There's online communities everywhere talking about it, how to make it more efficient, how to hack it, how to use it to draw to make word sources and share them, but it's still not an app. So I thought I could build an app to solve the problem. Yeah, you had to have like an assistant actually to make the photocopies for you. So SpellSite is how teachers spell success. And basically, we grab everything that this does and include games and to capture data, to help students give immediate feedback, and to have a digitized inventory of their spelling progress. So let's take a quick look at what the app does. So initially, you get a diagnostic. In this, the volume up so you can hear. So a student starts the app. They initially take a test to see where they're at, what level of spelling they're at, whether they're beginner or intermediate. Right. I should have taken that out. Okay. So after you do that, it gives you a score, and you can see the quiz results. And it lets you know where you're at and you need to be for your next level of study. Instead of having to get your teacher to tell you, you're in this group, you belong here, you get this word sort, the app already knows where you're at, and it gives you immediate list of spelling. So then what students do in typical word study courses, they sit there and they sort words, and the teacher walks around and looks at the desks and says, no, you didn't sort that correctly. But they walk away and the student has no immediate feedback. So I thought if you could build something that you could actually drag and simulate the full hands-on environment by having the students know exactly where the word is. You can also hear what the word says. So in this particular test, it's vowel, consonant, vowel pattern, vowel, vowel, and vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel. And if they do this regularly, they begin to learn these important developmental patterns. And basically, this is not something that we have to sell to somebody else to use, because people are already using this in thousands of classrooms across the United States. And it's just a matter of putting it up on Edmodo to earn revenue through licensing, or maybe package it through an iPhone or an iPad. So I know that the market is there. I just talked to the teachers at my school. They all gave me a huge thumbs up. People said, I can't believe this doesn't exist already. Why hasn't anybody built it? So if you want to learn more, you can contact me at nieto.paco@sleekgeek.net.
So what did you build this weekend what existed before? What did you build this weekend? And what, if any of this existed before this weekend?
I built 3 websites, 3 screens, one to assess, one to show you the quiz results, and one to sort and drag and get results that way. Yeah.
Is there a business model?
This would be a licensing fee, either go through Edmodo and charge per group, or per student, $2, $3, something like that, or sell it through the App Store for downloads.
So when you say the training process will be for teachers, how will they take this on, especially teachers that may not realize you're exactly.
Well, the thing is, with this kind of thing, you have to go to professional development, you have all this training, and people have to schedule their day all differently. This kind of app just kind of runs on itself. You set the student down, they take the assessment, they get their own list. All you have to do as a teacher is make sure that they're doing it, and you can see their growth on your own console. You can see what's going on with their progress, who's engaged, who's not engaged, who's making progress, who's getting stuck, what level they're at. People use this in K-8. Basically, it's lower elementary, and upper elementary, you have people who use it in special ed environments. So, I don't Well, I think schools these days are moving to blended learning models, and they're incorporating computers into classrooms at increasing rates. So we're seeing that at our school. Kids are starting to type more. So it's just the way of the future, I think. I think we're ready for that at our school.
To clarify, online adaptive.
Yes.
So once kids take the assessment, they're progressing at their own pace and speed and words or inflections that they're allowed to make.
Yeah.
It's focused on word study. I would recommend that you integrate feeling. Because word study is integrated feeling. Concept of spelling. Less. We'll talk about spelling, especially when we're talking about feeling and word study. Orienting. What is that one?
Well, Reina is one of my partners. She's working with me, and actually, if anybody wants to get involved, and talk to me about it, because it does require a lot of developing content to write all the list of words. Yes, I teach and I also develop apps.
Okay. Hi everybody, thank you for your patience. We're lucky last. My name's Chris. Most of the time I run a game studio, but this weekend I've paired up with Roy, Bruno, Samant, and Paul to make Catch. And we want to know who of you are smarter than your 8-year-olds. So we were all really inspired by the challenge, the parental engagement challenge put forward, whereby kids perform better if their parents are engaged in their education, and the school performs better overall. So we looked at our challenge as being, how do we engage parents in the Oakland Unified School District more? Our solution to that? Well, first of all, we looked at what was hard about that. Language is an obvious barrier. Only 50% of households speak English to start with. Internet penetration is super low compared to US norms. And a lot of the parents, they work 2 jobs, so they don't have time to be able to come to school and engage. There's also a couple of good things. While the home PC internet penetration is super low, smartphone penetration is super high. And of course, 100% of parents want their kids to succeed. So our solution is we want parents to play Catch. It's a fun-based quiz game that the teacher initiates based on the curriculum that they're using in class that week, given to the kid who can then challenge their parents or team up with their parents to challenge other kids in the class or the school or even the country. I'm going to hand over to Roy to explain that in a bit more detail.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. So the real beauty of Catch is that it takes less than a minute a week to open the window to engaging a parent and their child, and really to open that opportunity to see what their kid is learning in school. So how does it work? First of all, there's a platform for the teacher. It's very simple and intuitive. We already have pre-made challenges that come from the Common Core questions for grades 3 to 5. And the teachers are allowed to either choose these quizzes that are pre-made or customize it by adding their own questions or other community-generated questions that relates to the curriculum that they're learning. Secondly, they can use analytics data table here to see how many quizzes that week were completed, how many are in session, and how they can engage parents more by sending notifications through email or through SMS or through cell phone. As for the child, they have a different interactive database. What they're using here is an RPG-based game where they get points and experience by beating people, their peers, their parents, or even using collaborative gaming modes to team up with their parent against another parent-child pair. And so by doing that, they can get experience, level up, and get a few prizes. And the most important part, though, is the parent engagement. We really wanted to utilize that mobile audience, the 90% that smartphone access and OUSD, as a way to get the parent involved in their students' learning. So they have a very simple interface where they can play these games less than a minute per week and actually see the subject matter that their kids are learning. And we also provide it, as you can see, in Spanish. So we're trying to provide a bilingual offering so that we can reach 85% of the population. And so we did some market validation, and essentially what we got was people knew that parent engagement was critical to student success, and that the second one was that parents were excited and willing to challenge their children to play these games.
looking at the competitive landscape, we saw a lot of educational games and attempts to connect schools with parents, but nothing that used gaming to connect the child and the parent. So that's where we decided our niche would be.
We want to show a prototype, so we're just going to speed through this. It's going to be a freemium model, and hopefully schools will pay for more engagements once we prove that more parents are engaged with students learning.
So this weekend we built a prototype of the game, and we'd like to show you now.
It's going to be really fast, but well, not as fast as I hoped. There we go. So here you have the database on the phone of challenges that you could choose. Everyone poops down there. That's kind of confusing. What does that mean? Oh, explore the human digestive system. So you can see the status. We're out of time, but that's what we have here.
I'd like to hear more about, like, I mean, with Spanish, but there are so many languages. How do you deal with that?
Right, so I guess it's just going for the low-hanging fruit first was that English speakers was 51% and Spanish speakers was 34%. So being able to at least cater to the largest markets first, and then, you know, eventually, hopefully, putting on more languages.
So the third largest market was China at 6%. That would be our next. Mandarin.
How do you get the approval of the parents who use your content, or who's you provide the content?
So currently we're building the database content, and Paul is a teacher, and so we're pulling data from different teachers and different curriculum from these teachers, and hopefully it's going to be community generated, and then other teachers can combine their lesson plans.
Plus, we potentially looked at other partnerships, like there is a company called Quizza. They already have this whole repository question. So it's kind of partnerships, community generated content, and that's our team generating the content.
Have you thought about how you get the student information in there to contact the parents?
So I think today Google Apps have about 50% penetration in the US, so we see them as being the strongest partner to immediately populate the student accounts.
I mean, I like the concept of student engagement, but I don't like the concept of maybe trying to find $1 smaller. So, I mean, how are you going to, like, literally, I mean, it seems like this is good for 1 year. I mean, I'm not smarter than my second grade.
Yeah, so we definitely had
Third, fourth grade, I don't know.
we definitely had that concern in mind, so that's why we're targeting the 2nd to 5th grade, and we looked at the questions and curriculum for 8th grade to 12th, and it gets a little more difficult there. So we definitely want to focus from 2 to 5th grade, 2nd to 5th.
And also have the option of participating with the child to compete against others.
Oh, wait, they asked a question. Oh. Okay, so that concludes the presentations for this evening. The judges are going to go deliberate in the room that we train them on. And let me pull up our slide deck here. Okay, so first up, we are going to do a crowd favorite People's Choice Award. So the link to that is the big thing that you get a message. Okay. Vicky's posting a link into the chatter for all of our participants. So if participants, if you go to chatter, there's a link for you, the Google Doc link, for you to vote for your favorite of the 14 teams. Okay, so just changed up. anybody in the audience who goes for it, you put your mobile phone, use this link that is provided on the screen there. When you click on that link, and you can vote. Okay, pause for a second, go to the vote, technical difficulties. I'm going to redo this.
We'll be back.